Theater commands an entire army, the densest cluster of heavy equipment, the most powerful armored force in the field. It is the gateway to Beijing, guarding China's 3 northeastern provinces. Defense, a strategic iron fist for peace and stability across Northeast Asia, as long as they hold the line in Jilin, Liaoning, and Heilongjiang. Northeast Asia. Welcome to Mr. Panda's military channel. This episode introduces the guardian of the northern frontier, the stabilizer of Northeast Asia, the nightmare the U.S. military fears most, the PLA Northern Theater Command. A huge amount of video content. I suggest you follow and save this channel. If the Eastern Theater is the face-off, the frontline spearhead in the Taiwan Strait, then the Northern Theater must also be a battle-hardened god of war on multiple fronts. Because the Northern Theater watches directions that could erupt at any time, the Korean Peninsula powder keg, and stays on alert every day in the Sea of Japan for turbulence. But this theater has always kept the lowest profile. While carrying the heaviest border defense mission, the predecessor of this theater was mainly the famous former Shenyang military region. At the same time, it also absorbed some elite units from Jinan and Beijing military regions. During the Cold War, this was once the Northern Steel Shield, the first line of an iron torrent, assembling the Army's largest armored group, the Steel Great Wall known across the Republic. After the 2016 military reform order, it moved away from the old Army-dominated model, rapidly evolving to operate in both the Yellow and Bohai Seas, deter the peninsula and surrounding regions. A modernized Joint Operations Command, it completed the shift from homeland defense alone to a strategic leap in offense and defense. The Northern Theater Army is absolutely the most mechanized in the force. The Iron Corps with the highest concentration of heavy gear. The 78th, 79th, and 80th Armies are stationed here. Every single unit is a powerful trump card. The 78th Army is based in Harbin, Heilongjiang, formerly known as the famous 16th Army. What kind of force is this? Stationed year-round in high-latitude regions. It is built specifically to handle high-intensity warfare in extreme cold. To counter the U.S. Arctic strategy, they train in forests and snowfields at minus 30 degrees, and forged a hard fighting style. It is equipped with Type 99A tanks and all-terrain vehicles, able to move fast even across frozen ground. It is the first line against threats from the north. The 79th Army is stationed in Shenyang, formerly the 39th Army. This was the force in the war to resist U.S. aggression and aid Korea. That fought the American elite. A hero army famous across the north. It is positioned right by the North Korean border. Its role is rapid response to emergencies on the peninsula. If the wind shifts over there, then the 79th Army Group can use Shenyang's complete rail network to deploy within hours. Heavy forces straight to the border, or even cross the sea by row ships to support Shandong. Its mobility is incredible. The 81st Army is stationed in Weifang, Shandong. It is the former 26th Army. The old... What kind of force is this? It is the testing ground for the Army's long-range firepower. Equipped with the latest PHL-191 long-range rocket launcher from the Shandong Peninsula, it can directly launch 370mm and 750mm long-range, precision-guided rockets to strike hundreds of kilometers across the Taiwan Strait, even northern Taiwan. That also means the Army does not need to sail across to join a blockade of Taiwan right from its doorstep. This kind of cross-sea strike power is impossible for any opponent to fully stop. As for the Navy, the Northern Theater Navy is the famous North Sea Fleet. Its headquarters is in Qingdao. This is the cornerstone of our nation's naval nuclear power. Because our first nuclear submarine force was born here, just imagine, inside the underground caverns of this giant base, Type 094 strategic nuclear submarines are docked. Each one carries JL-3 missiles capable of devastating nations, submarine-launched intercontinental ballistic missiles. They're like ghosts in the deep sea, usually unseen. But as long as they are there, no one dares threaten the Republic with force. And our nation's first aircraft carrier, Liaoning, also serves in the North Sea Fleet. And now it has already completed its transition from a training ship to a true combat carrier. Once battle begins, it can lead a Type 055 escort formation into the Western Pacific to block Japan's routine intervention routes into the Taiwan Strait and become the strongest support for the Eastern Theater. Beyond this powerful naval force, the Northern Theater's air power is just as formidable. For example, the Northern Theater Air Force was among the first units to receive the J-20. The 1st Air Force Aviation Brigade is one of the few J-20 brigades in the force. It is known as the Liaoning Eagle, and its position is excellent. It can go north to cover Shenyang and south to cover Bohai Bay and the Yellow Sea. It is like the eye of a giant eagle, watching every movement along the first island chain. We also have the 2nd Air Force Brigade in the Northern Theater. The J-20S here mainly guard the capital's airspace, because Chifeng is only 400 kilometers from Beijing. If an enemy aircraft tries to infiltrate from the northeast, the stealth fighter stationed here can intercept it within minutes, eliminating the threat before it reaches the capital. And HU-6N strategic bombers are often seen here, on regular patrol. This platform can carry a major ballistic missile killer. Once it flies over the Sea of Japan, it can keep nearby rivals tense for days. So it must be said, the Northern Theater is the coldest training ground in the military, in the tempering of ice and fire. It has forged itself into a Kingsguard and a sharp blade shaping Northeast Asia, a sword ready to strike a powerful enemy at any moment. From the summit of Chiangmai to the Yellow Sea coast, from frozen rivers to the deep blue far sea, the footprints of Northern Theater units cover every front line of military readiness with the force of thunder. They forged an unbreakable steel barrier on the northern frontier. They fight with iron will, safeguarding the peace of the Republic's northern frontier. It is because of their protection that our southern little potatoes can rush to Harbin to enjoy the joy of ice and snow all the way to dusk.